Earth's fleet was nothing compared to the mighty armadas of the alien races that had already conquered many worlds across the galaxy. The Galactic Council had always looked down on humanity. To them, Earth was just a small, insignificant planet, too far behind in technology and power to ever pose a threat. But humanity had something the aliens didn't. A spirit that refused to give up. The galaxy was in turmoil. Many alien species had grown too bold, attacking weaker civilizations and claiming planets as their own. When a message came to Earth about an alien race known as the Zarvaxians, a brutal species that had taken control of a dozen planets, the situation became urgent. The Zarvaxians had turned their attention to Earth. The Galactic Council was more focused on making profit than helping. Earth won't stand a chance, they had said. Their fleet is small, outdated, it's almost laughable. These words stung deep into the hearts of humanity, but they also sparked something within them, a drive to prove their worth. Earth's leaders were determined. They knew they couldn't fight the aliens with sheer numbers or size. But they had something the others didn't. They had a united force. Ready to defend their home. Among the many ships in the fleet was Captain Emily Carter, a young yet highly skilled leader. She had spent her life training for moments like this. Despite the odds, she was not afraid. She had heard the jokes from the alien diplomats at the Galactic Council, heard them mock the human ships as floating metal scraps. But she knew better. She knew that Earth's fleet was full of brave men and women who were ready to fight with everything they had. The fleet was small, but it was quick. Earth's ships were not as big as the alien warships, but they were equipped with advanced technology designed to outsmart and outmaneuver the enemy. They were made to be faster and more agile, relying on strategy instead of brute force. The fleet had been carefully assembled, with the best pilots and commanders, all working together to protect their world. As Captain Emily Carter stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Phoenix, she looked out at the stars ahead. The fleet was ready. They had practiced their drills countless times. But she knew deep down that this wasn't just about winning. This was about showing the galaxy that Earth could fight back, that humanity was not to be underestimated. Captain, the Zarvaxian fleet is on the way. Lieutenant James, her trusted second-dined man, reported. His voice was steady, but there was a hint of tension in the air. They'll arrive within the hour. Emily nodded, her mind racing through the strategy they had developed. The Zarvaxians were powerful, but they were not unbeatable. Fleet was small, yes, but they had the advantage of speed and surprise. The enemy might think they were outmatched, but Emily and her crew would prove them wrong. "Prepare the fleet," she said, her voice calm but firm. "This is our moment." As the fleet began to move into formation, Emily's mind wandered. For a moment, she thought of her family, her friends, and everyone she loved back on Earth. She had always dreamed of space, exploring new worlds, but now that dream had turned into a nightmare. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and Earth was at risk of being lost forever. But she wouldn't let that happen. She couldn't. In the distance, the Zarvaxian fleet began to emerge from the blackness of space. Hundreds of massive warships, each one larger and more imposing than anything Earth had ever built. Their dark hulls shimmered in the dim light. Like an unstoppable wall of destruction, they were coming. The aliens, sure of their victory, began to mock the human fleet. Pitiful. A Zarvaxian commander sneered as he observed the human ships on his screen. "Is this all Earth can offer? A handful of weak ships? We will crush them in minutes." The Zarvaxians laughed at the sight of the small human fleet. They were confident, too confident. But Emily knew this was exactly what they wanted. Aliens to underestimate them. "Focus on their central ship," the Zarvaxian commander ordered. "The rest of them are nothing. This will be easy." Back on the Phoenix, Emily held her breath as she prepared for battle. She watched the screen as the alien ships moved into position, ready to strike. The battle was about to begin. Suddenly, she remembered something important. Earth had a secret. A weapon so powerful, it had been kept hidden from the rest of the galaxy. For years, humanity had kept it in reserve, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. Now, it seemed that moment had arrived. "Are we ready?" Emily asked, turning to her crew. "We're ready, Captain," Lieutenant James replied, his voice steady. The tension in the air was palpable. Earth's fleet, though small and outmatched, was ready to face the mighty Zarvaxians. But what the aliens didn't know was that Earth had one more card to play, a card they could never have imagined. As the enemy ships drew closer, Emily gave the order. "Launch everything. Show them what Earth is made of." The battle was about to get much more interesting. The quiet of space was shattered by the roar of engines. The Zarvaxian fleet, a vast collection of warships, had arrived at the outskirts of Earth's solar system. The stars twinkled in the distance, but the ships that were now emerging from the blackness were a far more threatening sight. They were massive. Each ship could easily swallow Earth's entire fleet. The enemy ships moved with precision, their sleek dark forms cutting through the void, ready to conquer a new planet. Emily stood at the front of the bridge of the Phoenix, her eyes locked on the monitor as the alien ships appeared one by one. There were hundreds of them, their dark shapes towering over Earth's humble fleet. It felt like a storm was about to break, and Earth's small ships were standing in the path of its fury. "How long until they reach us?" Emily asked, trying to steady her voice. She didn't want to show fear. Not now. Not with her crew looking to her for guidance. 10 minutes, Lieutenant James replied, his voice calm. But even he couldn't hide the tension in his eyes. "We'll need to be quick," Emily said, her mind already racing through their strategy. The fleet might be small, but Earth's ships were agile, built for speed and precision. Their only advantage in this battle was that they had nothing to lose. The aliens, on the other hand, were overconfident. They thought they could crush Earth easily, and that was something Emily was determined to use against them. The Zarvaxians weren't wasting time. As their ships formed a tight formation, they began to fire warning shots, sending blasts of energy toward Earth's fleet. Each shot was a reminder of how outmatched they were. But the humans didn't flinch. They couldn't afford to. Fleet had trained for this moment for years. The alien commander's voice came through the comm system, his words dripping with disdain. "Human fleet, you are about to be wiped from the galaxy. Prepare to be erased from existence." The words were meant to break their spirit, but it only made Emily more determined. She turned to her crew, her eyes sharp and focused. "This is not the end. We fight together. Stay calm and stay in formation." She knew the odds were against them, but she also knew that no one had ever fought like Earth's fleet. The alien commander believed they were an easy target, but they didn't understand the power of a people who had nothing left to lose. As the alien ships got closer, the human fleet moved into action. Ships darted and weaved, avoiding the enemy's blasts with precision. It was like a dance. Earth's ships zigzagging through space, while the alien ships tried to hit them with their powerful energy weapons. For a moment, it seemed like Earth's fleet was holding their own. The aliens were not as skilled in this kind of battle as they thought. They were used to dominating worlds with their size and strength, not fighting a fleet that could move, like shadows in the dark. But as the battle raged on, Emily's mind was elsewhere. She had a sinking feeling that their small fleet wouldn't last forever. The Zarvaxian ships were powerful, and they had numbers on their side. Eventually, Earth ships would run out of tricks to play, and that was when they would be in real danger. "We can't keep dodging forever," James said, his voice strained as he worked the controls. "We need backup." Emily nodded. "Hold on a little longer. Help is coming." She wasn't just talking about the fleet. She was talking about the secret weapon, the mothership that Earth had kept hidden for so long. It had been humanity's last line of defense, a weapon they hoped they'd never need to use. But now, as the alien armada bore down on them, it seemed like that time had come. The battle intensified as the Zarvaxian ships continued to fire relentlessly. Emily watched as one of the human ships, the Vanguard, was struck by a blast and sent spiraling toward the edge of the battlefield. She couldn't help but feel the pain of loss, but she couldn't let it distract her. The Vanguard was only one ship in a fleet of many. She had to focus on the bigger picture. "Captain, they're trying to surround us," James said urgently. We need to break their formation before they close in completely. Emily took a deep breath. This was the moment she had been preparing for. She had no intention of going down quietly. All ships follow me, she ordered. We break their formation now. On my mark. 3, 2, fire. At her command, Earth's fleet launched a barrage of missiles, hitting the nearest Sarvaxian ship. It was a calculated move, not just an attack, but a distraction. The enemy ships turned toward the blast, trying to retaliate. That's when Emily made her move. She led the fleet in a swift, unexpected turn. Cutting through the alien formation, it wasn't a victory, but it was enough to disrupt the enemy's rhythm. Earth's fleet wasn't going down without a fight, and that was something the Sarvaxians didn't expect. The enemy's confidence began to falter as they realized that their advantage was slipping away. But just as Emily felt a glimmer of hope, the worst thing she could imagine happened. A massive ship appeared out of nowhere, casting a dark shadow over the battlefield. It wasn't part of Earth's fleet. It wasn't anything the Sarvaxians had seen before. It was Earth's mothership, the one secret humanity had kept hidden. For generations, the mothership wasn't just big. It was a powerful and ancient weapon that Earth had been hiding, waiting for the moment when they needed it most. The sky darkened as the mothership descended into the fray, its massive form blocking out the stars. The mothership descended like a shadow from the stars. The Sarvaxian fleet, which had once looked so confident, now found themselves gazing up in shock and confusion. It was enormous, far bigger than any ship the aliens had ever encountered. Its surface was dark, almost like it absorbed the very light around it. The moment it appeared, the entire battlefield seemed to freeze. Captain Lieutenant James whispered, his eyes wide with disbelief. What is that? Emily didn't answer right away. She couldn't. She, too, had never seen it before. The mothership had been kept hidden for years, a secret known only to the highest levels of humanity's government. It was humanity's ultimate weapon, a ship so powerful that it could change the course of the battle in an instant. For a moment, the alien armada seemed to hesitate, unsure of what to make of this new threat. The aliens had already underestimated Earth's fleet, but this was something else entirely. The mothership wasn't just big, it was ancient. A vessel built with technology that was far beyond anything the Sarvaxians had ever seen. It was a living legend, a weapon of unmatched power. Earth had kept it hidden until now. Deploying all systems, Emily said, breaking the silence. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to remain calm. This was it. The battle had changed. The mothership was the key to winning, but they still had to fight. They couldn't let the aliens have time to regroup, Captain. Receiving a message from the mothership, the communications officer reported. Emily nodded, stepping forward. The voice that came through the speakers was calm, almost soothing, yet filled with authority. This is Earth's mothership, Exodus, the voice said. All systems are operational. Waiting your command, Captain. Emily felt a weight lift from her chest. The mothership was ready. She could feel it in her bones. This was humanity's final answer to the Sarvaxian threat. The mothership wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of everything humanity had fought for, a symbol of their strength, their unity, and their will to survive. Move in, Emily ordered. We take the fight to them. As the Phoenix and the rest of Earth's fleet followed the mothership into battle, Emily could see the confusion in the alien fleet. They were trying to make sense of what they were seeing. The sheer size and power of the mothership had thrown their tactics into chaos. What had once been a simple battle was now a full-scale war. With the odds in Earth's favor, the Exodus fired its first shot, a massive beam of energy. It tore through the nearest Sarvaxian ship, splitting it in half. The shockwave from the blast sent the surrounding ships scattering in all directions. The aliens had never seen anything like it. The mothership wasn't just a ship. It was a force of nature, and it had just made its presence known. As the Exodus continued its assault, the rest of Earth's fleet took advantage of the confusion. They moved in with precision, their smaller ships darting through the alien lines, striking at weak points, hitting fast and hard before retreating to regroup. The Sarvaxians were struggling to keep up, their ships too slow and cumbersome to match the agility of the human fleet. Captain, we've got them on the run, Lieutenant James reported. The Zarvaxian fleet is breaking formation. Emily couldn't help but smile. It wasn't over yet, but for the first time, it felt like Earth might actually have a chance. The aliens, so sure of their victory just hours ago, were now losing ground. The Exodus had changed everything. Its firepower was devastating, and it was still just warming up. The battle raged on for what felt like hours, but with every passing minute, the alien fleet grew weaker. Their ships were no match for the Mothership's relentless fire. The remaining Zarvaxian commanders tried to regroup, to rally their forces, but it was clear to everyone that the tide had turned. The aliens had lost their edge, their arrogance replaced by panic. Captain, the communications officer said, a sense of urgency in his voice. We're picking up a transmission from their leader. Emily turned to the screen, where the face of the Zarvaxian commander appeared. His expression was a mix of anger and disbelief. You humans think you've won, he snarled. This is just a delay. The galaxy will never bow to your kind. We will return. Emily didn't hesitate. She stood tall, her voice steady as she addressed the alien commander. This isn't a delay. This is the beginning of the end for your empire. Earth is not just a planet to be conquered. We are a force to be reckoned with, the Zarvaxian commander growled, his eyes flashing with fury. You'll regret this, human. The transmission ended abruptly, and the aliens, once so confident, were now retreating. The remnants of the Zarvaxian fleet turned and fled, their ships scattering in all directions as they tried to escape Earth's overwhelming force. But the Mothership wasn't finished yet. The Exodus fired once more, targeting the fleeing ships, disabling their engines and preventing their escape. Earth's fleet had proven their point. They weren't going down without a fight, and now they had the upper hand. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, Earth's fleet had a real chance to win. Emily watched the alien ships retreat, her heart pounding with both relief and determination. This was just the beginning. Humanity had shown the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated, and that message would echo across the stars for years to come. The tide of battle had changed. What had once seemed like certain defeat for Earth's small fleet was now a fight they were winning. The Exodus, humanity's mothership, had turned the tide, and with it came a newfound hope. The Zarvaxian ships, so sure of their victory just hours ago, were now retreating, their formation in disarray. Emily stood tall on the bridge of the Phoenix, her eyes fixed on the screens that showed the retreating enemy fleet. The Exodus had fired another devastating shot, taking down the last of the lead ships in the Zarvaxian armada. Sparks flew across the control panels as the last few alien ships scrambled to escape, but it was too late. Captain, we've got them on the run, Lieutenant James called out, his voice filled with excitement. Their ships are scattering. They're trying to flee. Don't let them get away, Emily said, her voice calm but filled with determination. We finish this now. She watched as Earth's fleet moved in, cutting off any hope of escape for the remaining Zarvaxian ships. The alien forces had underestimated humanity from the start, but now they were seeing just how wrong they had been. Earth's fleet was not just fighting to survive. They were fighting for their home, for their future. Captain, we've got incoming fire from a few of their remaining ships, the weapons officer reported, but it's weak. They're trying to fire back, but their systems are damaged. Emily nodded. The Exodus had already done most of the damage. The alien ships were now like wounded animals, desperate and panicked, but Earth's fleet wasn't giving them a chance to regroup. The small human ships darted through space, attacking from every direction, making it impossible for the aliens to focus on any one target. Keep the pressure on them, Emily ordered. We can't let them recover. This is our chance to end it. The battle had taken a brutal toll on both sides. Earth's ships had sustained damage, though they had been able to hold their ground. But the aliens, with their once-proud fleet, now in disarray, were losing everything. The Exodus had proven to be the game-changer. Sheer firepower and advanced technology had wiped out a significant portion of the Zarvaxian forces. And now it was time to finish the job. One of the remaining Zarvaxian ships, a massive warship that had been hovering near the back of the enemy line, attempted a desperate counterattack. It was clear that they were planning to make one final stand. The ship powered its engines, trying to break through the human fleet's defenses. But Earth's ships moved faster, circling it, forcing the alien warship into a corner. Target. Their engines, Emily said, pointing to the monitor. We take that ship out now, and the rest will scatter. The weapons officer nodded, locking onto the enemy warship. The Phoenix fired its cannons, and the shot hit the alien ship with a deafening explosion. The alien ship shuddered, its engines going dark as it was crippled by the blast. The enemy's last hope of regrouping was gone. Direct hit, Captain, Lieutenant James said, a smile breaking through his usually serious expression. They're disabled. Good work, everyone, Emily replied. Now let's finish this. The remaining Zarvaxian ships were now in full retreat. The Exodus fired another blast, taking out a large group of alien fighters that had been trying to make a last-ditch escape. The human fleet surrounded the alien ships, picking them off one by one. There was no escape for the invaders. Earth's fleet had proven that even a small, outmatched force could stand tall when they had the will to fight. As the last of the alien ships fell, Emily let out a long breath, her hands resting on the edge of the control panel. The battle was over, but the victory was not just theirs. It was humanity's victory. It had done the impossible, proving to the galaxy that Earth was not a planet to be underestimated. We did it, Captain Lieutenant James said, his voice filled with admiration. The Zarvaxians are defeated. We've won. Emily looked out the view screen at the wreckage of the alien fleet. The stars were now clear again, and the darkness of space seemed less threatening. The Exodus continued to hover over the battlefield, its massive form casting a long shadow. It's not just about winning the battle, Emily said, her voice thoughtful. It's about sending a message. A message? James asked, looking at her with curiosity. Emily nodded. The galaxy has seen what Earth can do. The Zarvaxians may be gone, but other threats will come. Can't afford to be weak. We have to keep showing the galaxy that Earth is strong, that we are a force to be reckoned with. James looked at her, a smile tugging at his lips.
We've
certainly made that clear today. Emily smiled back, but there was a glint of something deeper in her eyes. She knew this victory was just the beginning. The galaxy would remember Earth's strength. But it wouldn't be the last time they would have to prove themselves. As the last of the alien ships burned up in the atmosphere, Earth's fleet drifted back into formation. They had proven they could survive. They had proven they could win. And now, they would carry that strength forward, ready for whatever came next. The battlefield was silent now, the remnants of the Zarvaxian fleet drifting in space like broken pieces of a shattered dream. Earth's fleet, battered but proud, floated in the emptiness of space, their mission complete. The Exodus hovered. In the distance, its massive form still casting its shadow over the stars. The alien armada that had once seemed unstoppable had been reduced to nothing. Captain Emily Carter stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, her eyes fixed on the wreckage. It was hard to believe that just hours ago they had been outmatched. A small fleet facing down an alien invasion, but now they had one. They had defended Earth. The comm system crackled. And Emily's heart skipped a beat as she heard the voice of the Earth Command. Captain Carter, the voice said, Earth Command is requesting a status update. Emily took a deep breath, her voice steady as she replied. Mission complete. The Zarvaxian fleet has been defeated. Earth is safe. There was a pause on the other end of the line before the voice returned, this time with a tone of disbelief. The Zarvaxians are gone? All of them. Every last one, Emily confirmed. They've retreated or been destroyed. Our fleet and the Exodus were enough to stop them. Understood. We'll begin the cleanup and recovery efforts immediately. Congratulations, Captain. You and your crew have just changed the course of history. Emily felt a weight lift from her shoulders, but the victory was bittersweet. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. She knew there would be more threats, more challenges in the future. Earth had proven itself today, but that was just the first step. Now, the galaxy knew that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. Thank you, Emily said, her voice soft. We'll be standing by for further instructions. As she ended, The transmission, Emily turned to her crew. The Phoenix had taken damage during the battle, but it was still operational. She could see the relief in her crew's eyes. They had fought hard and come out victorious. But there was still work to be done. Lieutenant James, Emily said, report on the condition of the fleet. James looked at the display in front of him, his brow furrowed. Our ships are damaged, Captain, but we're still in fighting shape. Some of the smaller ships took heavy hits, but we can repair them. We'll be ready for whatever comes next. Emily nodded. Good. Let's begin repairs. We're not done yet. We've made our mark on the galaxy, but there will be more to face. We need to be ready. As the crew went to work, Emily couldn't help but think about the Mothership. Exodus had been Earth's secret weapon, hidden for years, a force that had turned the tide of battle. She knew they couldn't rely on it forever. It was a symbol of Earth's strength, but Earth's future couldn't be built on one ship alone. They needed to keep improving, keep evolving. The Exodus was a powerful tool, but it was just the beginning. Humanity had more to offer than anyone had realized. Suddenly, the silence was broken by a voice from the comm system. Captain. The communications officer called. We're receiving a transmission from the Zarvaxian leader. Emily's eyes narrowed. She had hoped the alien commander had learned his lesson, but it seemed he wasn't done yet. She took a deep breath and spoke into the comm system. Put it through. The screen flickered, and the familiar face of the Zarvaxian commander appeared. Its expression was no longer filled with arrogance. Instead, he looked ... defeated. He didn't speak right away, but Emily could sense the bitterness in his silence. You humans ... he began, his voice low. You've won this battle, but you will never win the war. The galaxy is vast, and there are countless species who will never bow to you. Your victory today is a fluke. Emily stood tall, her gaze unwavering. We don't need to win the war right now. Nice. All we need is to prove that Earth will never back down. You and your kind underestimated us. And today, you've learned the truth. The galaxy may be vast, but Earth is strong. We will protect our home and our people, no matter what it takes. The Zarvaxian commander sneered, but there was no fire in his words anymore. You'll regret this, he said before cutting off the transmission. Emily didn't let his words shake her. She knew what they had achieved today. The galaxy had watched as Earth's fleet, once dismissed as weak, had risen up and defeated an enemy that had been thought invincible. The message had been sent. Earth was not to be underestimated, Captain James said, his voice breaking through her thoughts. We've got incoming communications from the Galactic Council. Emily turned toward the comm system. This would be another test for Earth. She had no idea what the Council would say. But one thing was certain. Earth had earned their respect, whether they liked it or not. Put it through, Emily said. The screen flickered again, and the faces of the Council members appeared, their expressions a mix of surprise and curiosity. Captain Carter, one of the Council members, began, We didn't expect this. Your fleet, your people, have shown an unexpected strength. Earth has earned its place among the stars. Emily nodded, her eyes focused on the screen. We've proven that we won't back down. We're ready to work with the galaxy. But we will never be weak again. The Council members exchanged glances, clearly taken aback by her words. Whoa. Take that under consideration. Earth's place in the galaxy is no longer in question. As the transmission ended, Emily felt a sense of pride swelling in her chest. The fight was over, but the journey had only just begun. Had proven its strength, and the galaxy would remember. We've earned our place, Emily whispered to herself.